Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Tony from Street Church Ministries, and you're watching the Inside Job Podcast. Thanks. We appreciate it. We really appreciate how you guys are hopping on to this little rinky-dink hole-in-the-wall podcast. We hope it goes a long way to making you into the person that God created you to be ultimately. And our entire podcast is designed with the intent of helping us to learn how to love and how to care for people who are going unloved, who are the marginalized in the world, who are the down and outs in our world, or just people in our lives, right? Who we always feel like we are the ones who are pouring into without having them ever pouring back into our lives, right? So with that in mind, I created a series called Listening to the Punctuation Mark. It's a 3-week series that I think will help us, that will enable us to remain motivated and passionate and to continue to care for people and to love people well who are, in those situations. When all that you want to do is just throw up your hands and walk away and say, you know what, I'm done. When you get discouraged and when all that you want to do is just walk away, I think that this series will give us the tools that will enable us to remain passionate and motivated about loving people well, about pouring our lives into people's lives when we're not getting anything poured back in return. Okay? Listening to the punctuation mark. We're in the last week of this particular series, and this week we are going to talk about listening to the question mark. We're going to take a look at how if we listen to the question mark in the scriptures, because I think God uses even punctuation marks to share with us things and to teach us things that he wants to show us. We're going to see how the question mark will encourage us and enable us to remain passionate and motivated about loving people well who are in those situations, who are, in those circumstances. So, the first verse that we're going to look at is in Jeremiah chapter 32. And God is speaking here. So when God speaks, prick your ears and listen up. He says this. He says, Behold, I am the Lord, the God of all the flesh. Is anything too difficult for me? And the truth is, if I'm honest with you and with myself, it seems like the answer at times to that question is yes. So many people I know, so many people that we meet in our ministry, have such heavy bags of luggage filled with such emotional baggage, bad habits, just things in their life that they're saddled with. And, change seems so insurmountable. It seems like it's such a steep mountain that I'm climbing with them. And sometimes I just want to throw my hands up and I'm like, you know what? This is too difficult. And the answer is, when I feel like that, I am right. It is too difficult. It is too difficult. Because if I would insert my name into that Bible verse I just read, the answer would be yes. Is there anything too difficult for Tony Palumbo? Yeah. With a capital Y, right? The answer would be yes. Things in and of myself are insurmountable and they're too daunting, right? But it's only when I realize that and when I can embrace that and when I own that, am I able to answer the question with a no. That indeed there's nothing too difficult for the God for the God of all flesh to accomplish or to adjust or to tweak or to change. There's nothing that he cannot do. And that's an important question that we have to ask ourselves honestly. Because if we're honest with ourselves, I mean, come on, you know the language I'm speaking. You know that there are times that you just want to throw your arms up and walk away. You're done with people. You get discouraged. You're like, that's it. I'm done. You need to go to the mirror. You need to take a hard look, and you need to ask yourself that question. And you need to realize that the answer is a big fat no. There's nothing that the Lord is incapable of accomplishing in a human being's life. And because of that, you can remain motivated and you can maintain the ability to pour your life out into people's lives. Just knowing that. You never know with God. You never know. All bets are off. Anything is possible because nothing is too difficult for him. The second question that we are going to ask ourselves, and the second question mark that we're going to take a look at, is in Genesis chapter 3. This is one of my favorite question marks in the entire Bible. It's right after Adam and Eve sin, and they realize that they're buck naked, and they get embarrassed, and they hear God, and he's walking in the garden, and they go find a big oak tree, and they hide behind it out of their shame and out of their embarrassment and fear. And God comes up in Genesis chapter 3 and verse number 9, and he says, "Where are you?" He asks the question, "Where are you?" And it ends in a question mark, obviously. And it's an important question that we need to embrace and that we need to recognize. And the reason why it's so important is this, is because if God is God, he doesn't need to know stuff. If there is a being out there that's just all powerful, all present, all knowing at all times, then he don't need to know stuff, right? So why would he ask that question? For me, it's just it's God's way of saying through that question of, in your rebellion, in your walking away from me, I will be the one who will pursue you. In your rebellion, I will pursue you, right? And if that's true, and I think it is true, it's one of the most important question marks that we can embrace into our lives. Just knowing that God, he pursues people relentlessly in their messes. And if he pursues people in their messes, in their rebellion, in their, challenges with their heavy luggage and and their backpack full of issues, if he continues to pursue people and say, "Where are you?" then what does that mean for you and me? What it means for me is that it motivates the heck out of me, just knowing that, to continue to pour out my life into people's lives when I don't feel like I'm having anything poured back into my life. And it motivates me to stay the course and to continue to love people well. So, hey, listen, I hope that encourages you guys. I hope that if you're ever in a situation where you just want to throw your hands up and you want to give up and you want to walk away from people, that you go to the mirror and that you ask yourself those two very important questions. And I hope that you come up with the same answers that I came up with today. So, hey, listen, have a great week. I got something special planned for you guys. I can't wait until I see you guys next.